Hi everyone, Dr. Mak with another video today. Frequently asked questions video. I've been getting so many messages and now it's come to the point that I open my inbox and there's so many new messages and I'm like, I'm not sure how I'm gonna reach out to all those people. So there's one question that I get a lot, I make a video on it. So anytime I feel like there's 20-30 messages on the same topic, I would make a video on it so more people get benefit out of it. So it's not like when I do a frequently asked questions video that this is a topic I like to talk about. I feel like the high demand it is and a lot of people struggling with that particular topic or need more help with that topic, rather make that video. So today's topic is about, should we do the ADC while living in Australia or while overseas? So is it better to do ADC while we are overseas, or is it better to do ADC while we are in Australia? So I personally feel that it's good to discuss the pros and cons, because I know a lot of people, they technically cannot, and a lot of people can. So if I give the opinion and say do one thing, some of the people who cannot might be in a position that, oh, so what do I do? Do I not do ADC? So I personally feel the goal is to do ADC, right? The goal is to do ADC. So what you want to do is focus on pros and cons of both, and in your case, whichever fits better, you pick that. And that's, I feel, is a bit more justifiable in that way. So let's talk about both the ways. Now, someone who is in Australia and pursuing the ADC, let's look at the pros and cons. The pros are you're already in Australia, so then you can go and get a dental assistant job. You can apply for jobs easily. There's a high chance that someone who is already in Australia to land at a dental assistant job than someone who is overseas, because they cannot physically see in person, they cannot interview in person, you don't have to get sponsored, you're already there, So higher chance to work in the dental industry, learn those etiquettes of being in the dental clinic, infection control, x-rays, all those things, communication, all those things. So you have benefit of that. Secondly, I think one thing is when you're already in Australia, even psychologically, you have that benefit of learning the language, getting in that zone that you already know that, okay, this is the place. You have that motivation that I want to come here and I want to settle here. So benefit of already doing it is you are here, you already can see your goal, you have a high chance of getting in the dental clinic or applying in the dental clinic, or higher rate of being successful because you're already in Australia. Your higher chances of meeting with the lawyers and get permanent residency, looking at your options while you're already in Australia, talking about it. Then the other benefits that I've seen is when you're already here, there are different ways, like most of the teaching courses and stuff, you can do it. You can meet with mentors. You can have better guidance and support in person. Maybe there's one mentor who already working, you can work along with them. Some people get that benefit, some people don't get that benefit. Now, compare this to someone who is overseas, right? First of all, being in overseas, you have a bit disadvantage, not a major disadvantage, a disadvantage that if you're being overseas and you're telling someone that, oh, can you hire me as a dental assistant? People will be like, I don't even know you. I've not met you. I don't know if you can work good. So go back to my dental assistant video and you'll have an idea what I'm talking about and why I'm saying this. Then comes to the point that people are like, if you're overseas, you cannot work in a clinic. So that means learning the etiquettes and stuff, learning the language and stuff and everything else. Now, everyone knows English, but I feel like once you're living in Australia, talking about it all the time, it gives you a bit of an edge. Have that comfort level going in the clinic and then going in the exam, you have that edge, I would say. But at the same time, I know students, recently 2 of my students passed, never came to Australia, did my online course, One was from Saudi Arabia, the other one was from Kuwait. They did the online training. They're working in the clinic there. I guided them online. They passed the exam and they only came to give the exam. They didn't do any on-site training. They never worked in an Australian clinic. So people can pass. I know amazing clinicians who can be in overseas pass. Yes, you have a slight disadvantage that if you're in Australia, you have that advantage. Disadvantage is, you don't get that edge. Let's talk about the advantages of being overseas. Now, if you're overseas, then you have one major advantage of being in Australia. And now it depends on everyone's circumstances. One is most of the people who are coming to Australia, either coming on study visas like masters and stuff. That means they have to work, get their bills. They're already doing masters. They don't get much time to study. That's the big disadvantage people being in Australia, because they have to work for their bills. They have to do their masters. So now they have to do ADC, the third thing, which gets really tricky. They already are stressed about they have 4 years or 3 years or 2 years, their visa is going to expire. So have that added pressure. Someone being in overseas, they don't have that. They cannot kick you out from your country. So you have full freedom of studying more. You don't have to do a master's. You can just work and do it. You have more time to study while in Australia. Now, as I said, based on the circumstances, things change. So for some person, maybe they got married. For girls, they got married. Or maybe for some guys, they came here on a, partner visa and they have full working rights. They don't have to study. So they have that added benefit. They can just focus on their study goals. They don't have to worry about studying. They don't have to worry about working. If they want to work, they can work full-time working hours. They don't have to worry about their visa expiring. So they have that added bonus. And then at the same time, they have more time. So with the circumstances, they have benefits and disadvantages. For people who are overseas, they have the benefit, they have the time, but then the problem is they come in just for a visa and give the exam. So they have that disadvantage of, they have the advantage of having more time, but they have the disadvantage of not getting that exposure that someone already in Australia. Now, the advantage that we are saying for a lot of people, they don't land a dental assistant job. So even while living in Australia, they don't get that advantage. Yes, they are living in Australia, but they've never worked as a dental assistant before. But for someone who coming from overseas, they come in and give the exam. So they're pretty much at the same level. Maybe psychologically, their brain or their mind may be saying that, yeah, you have an advantage, but they don't. So I personally feel it depends on your circumstance. If you are in overseas, you can still do the ADC exams. They're amazing online courses. I run an amazing online course that I've been helping people all around the globe. You can do those. Some people just go and do the course, come in Australia and go back and do the study and then come back here before the exam, 1 month before the exam, do another hands-on course before the exam. Some people do that. But there are ways that even if you are in overseas doing the ADC exams, there's still ways people are passing. If you work hard, you can pass as well. Yes, you have a slight disadvantage over someone already in Australia in terms of exposure. But at the same time, you have the advantage that you have more time. I know people, including my journey as well. When I came here on a master's, I was working, I was doing my master's, then I was doing the ADC. Some days I was sleeping like 3-4 hours because I have to do so much work. And because you have that added pressure, your visa is expiring, you have to study your master's as well, because your master's you cannot fail as well because your visa is reliant on it. But you have to study ADC simultaneously. You're doing 3 things at the same time. Some people have those family added pressures as well. It's hard. So I feel your pros and cons for both. Your goal should be to pass ADC. If you have that added support and benefit of being in Australia, I would prefer you to be in Australia doing the ADC exams. And before you come to Australia, you have already studied and do most of your homework. So when you're in Australia and you're doing a master's and you're doing your ADC exams and you're working, you already have done a lot of homework. So you have an added bonus. And if you're on a partner visa or something, then you have a lot more benefit that because you don't, even if you don't want to work, you don't have to. And again, when people on partner visas, they have the other responsibilities as well. So it's not easy for them because the thing is, because they are married, they have to take care of the kids and, you know, their life gets a lot of pause in the middle between the ADC journey. So that's what I'm saying. Everyone's ADC journey is different. You need to look into the final goal, which is passing the ADC exam. It does not matter if you're in overseas or in Australia, you can pass both. I know people who have passed both. My students have passed both. Some in Australia, some in overseas who never came to Australia, just came for the exam and they've passed as well. So a right mentor makes a lot of difference. A right course and the right guidelines make a lot of difference. But your motivation should be that I need to pass ADC exam. So for all of you who ask me this, that, you know, what do you suggest? Like if you can be in Australia, that would be in my opinion, better option. But if you cannot, you can still make it. So that's why I don't say that this is right, this is right. You need to discuss the pros and cons, look at your scenario. A lot of people say which masters to do. Go and refer to my masters video, which masters to do. And after that, don't come back and ask me which masters to do. You have to make a decision. Talk to a lawyer. Do some discussion, get some idea, you know, what masters gives me better benefit. Do your research. At the same time, a lot of people say I'm struggling with dental assistant role and this role. The best way to find a job is go back to my dental assistant video, look at the tips and tricks. The other thing you can do is you can contact a medical recruitment agency because they're always looking for dental assistants. Give them your profile. There's a lot of dental recruitment agencies. Google them, talk to them, submit their resumes. They can help you find as well. But at the same time, if you're already in Australia, there's benefits of you landing a dental assistant job. If you're in overseas, it's difficult because you don't have a direct contact with someone. If I meet someone or if I'm hiring a dentist, the chances of someone that I talk in person are higher than on Zoom. Doesn't mean that the person on Zoom has no chances. They also have chances. If they're a great candidate, they will get a chance, but still a bit of disadvantage over someone who's already in Australia. So again, you both can make it. You have to discuss the pros and cons. Look at what your circumstance is. And if your circumstance says, which a lot of people say they cannot come to Australia, that's fine. Work on your goals. Focus on your final goal and then look into online courses. Look into a course that you can come to Australia or go to Dubai or India or other places that may be conducting the ADC exams preparation courses. Do that and come to Australia maybe a month before. Do some more practice before you give the exam. At the end of the day, no one way works similar for everyone. You have to modify your journey to reach your final goal, and your final goal is ADC. So that should be your main goal. It should not be that if I'm in Australia, only then I can pass ADC, or if I'm in overseas, only then I can pass ADC. People who want to do it, they have done in either way. People have passed while in Australia. People have passed while in overseas. People who don't pass, I know a lot of people who are in Australia, they've been doing it for 10 years, they haven't passed as well. So there are success stories on both ways. You focus on the good and focus on your journey and your final goal. And do some research, do a lot of research. These days, I feel like people don't do their research. They just search for 20 minutes and they start messaging. If you have to build up your resume, apply for a dental assistant job, search for a course, it's your homework. Not my homework or someone else's homework. It's your homework. It's your journey. So focus on your journey. And my best wishes for all of you. ADC journey is a stressful one, but if you hang in there, you will get through. So best of luck and God bless you all. We'll see you all in the next frequently asked questions video. You can post the questions, detailed questions on the comments on the YouTube or my Instagram, Dr. Murtaza Mak. And I will make sure the maximum poll it is, or the maximum questions we get on the similar topic, we'll make a video on that. Hope that's helpful. Share it with someone who can get benefit out of it. That's the main part of the channel. And God bless you all.